So I'll do introductions, a bit of a backdrop on Icotech, a bit of a backdrop about myself. We'll go through the basics of the Power Apps and the Power Platform, and then we'll explore the differences then. And we'll, as I say, we'll do a live demonstration of a very, very, very simple, the most simple Power App that you could possibly imagine. It's not me showing off what we can do. It's me showing what you can do with an hour's worth of work. And then we'll come on to the Icotech's Platform as a Service at the end of that, just to explain how we can help organizations wishing to make the most out of the Power Platform. All right, so just a bit of background about me. So I started off my journey as PMO, project practitioner in Duke and Welsh Water over a decade ago, and then I started work for Lloyds Bank Group then and helped with the TSB sale of Lloyds Bank, which was great. And then I spent 5 years in Babcock International Group, dotting around the place, but finally landing on the head of projects and governance job, delivering portfolios of business and technology change across the globe. I then started Icotech, and our first customer was Companies House. So I went in there and helped them with their transformation program and deliver their transformation business case to base pick, which was fun. I love that 5-case business model. And then I then really Icotech started, and we started to grow a customer base today that includes Bays, IPO, ONS, and Betty's and Taylors. So I often say this is a joke, but we do get lots of free tea, which is nice. So that's just a bit of a plotted history about Icotech, who we are, a bit about myself as well. I guess our approach is unique in Icotech, so we like to deliver value at pace. That's what we do. Everything we do in our business with our partners and our customers is about delivering value at pace. So it's about creating good relationships, networking, sharing our value, using the right tools and systems to do the right jobs, always innovating, always thinking, always researching. Some of this content today isn't my thinking. Some of it's Microsoft's thinking, and I'm honest about that. But we bring that research and innovation to a wider audience to allow us to all use technology as best as possible. And then we've got, I think, the best people, and we collaborate in the best way. And we're always learning and always sharing. So that's really what we are, how we run our business, and our approach to delivering projects and delivering technology is delivering value at pace. All right. Our offerings really split into 4 components. So we've got our solutions, which are custom Power Platform, Microsoft 365 solutions, ranging from Project Online, Power BI, SharePoint integrations. But we're building custom solutions in large projects that have got a specific outcome. Then we've got products which are, kind of SaaS products that you can consume from us on the App Store, which deliver a specific niche requirement, but they're much more attractive in terms of price point. And then we've got our services. So all of our projects and products have a support element to them. So whether you're trying to just get the most out of 365 in terms of support, and then we've got consulting in the middle there that really is, change consulting, making sure we've got experts in doing the right thing in our customers' organizations, delivering transformation consultancy services. All right. Microsoft 365 is massive. I think I added up the other day, 38 applications within Microsoft 365. So when we say Microsoft 365, a lot of us will think of Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, but there's over 38 applications that are in Microsoft 365 at the moment. We really specialize in the Power Platform, Power Apps, Project, and the Power BI. That's really our forte. We've got our competencies from Microsoft in that space. All right. And of course, then we support those technologies as well. In order to deliver the solutions and the products that we deliver at Icotech, we have to have expertise in Teams, SharePoint, Power Automate, Dynamics 365, etc. So that just gives you hopefully a bit of a background about Icotech and ourselves and our capability, really. Okay, so what is the problem with regards to Power Apps and applications? So I guess that fundamentally the way we work is different to a few years ago. I think in Microsoft Ignite, it was commented that there was more transformations happened in the last 2 months than the whole of the 2 years put together, really. So we are exponentially transforming in businesses and the way in which we do business. All right. The apps we use to do business are slow to keep up with that demand. So, it's very difficult if you're using products to change those products, and that development just can't keep up. We're transforming exponentially as businesses and processes and as humans in the way we interact with our technology. But the supplier landscape cannot keep up with that demand. All right. And I guess technology is rigid. When you deliver technology, when you've been through that pain of building systems, you can understand how and why technology solutions are so difficult. but very hard to integrate the services, very hard to to change these services once you've consumed them. All right, so that's the problem that we felt, or that is felt. And then I guess the reason why this is because there's not enough skilled developers or technical resources in the market. I know as running a business, it's very hard to find skilled technology resources that really have a plethora of skills. A lot of people will be BI developers or kind of SQL developers or Dynamics developers, but finding someone who's got a range of skills is quite difficult, and keeping them trained because it's moving so quickly. And then segregated data on-prem and in the cloud is very difficult to combine. So when you've got data in old school, as I call them, old school servers in your comms rooms, if you're working for a big organization at the moment, you'll probably have a server room, versus the technology or the data that's in the cloud on your Office 365, for example. Very hard to join them together and bring them together into one place. All right, and I guess IT is so focused on the important things like security, like uptime, availability, access, all that kind of stuff, that it's quite hard to be dynamic, and it's quite hard to have the design capacity really to think about these products and these services that the operational users need in order to deliver value and increase benefit, etc. All right. So, what's it mean for employees? I guess. So, what's the problem? What would employees like to do? So, employees want to create apps quickly that work on any device. We want to connect to data services without any code. I'm not a coder. I can't write code, but I want to be able to connect my Zero system to whatever else other system we've got in the business. For example, or I want to be able to connect my risk management system with my emails. I just want to be able to do that quickly because all my data is in these disparate technology sets, but I just want to connect with it easily. All right, and then I want to be able to share my app. So once I've built my tool, I really want to share it with my users because it's all about everybody using it, right? I don't think anybody wants to build an app that's just for them. We want to share it with the user community to allow us all to benefit from that development and those functions and features. And then what this is the problem from the developer side, from pro code developer side. Really we want to use Azure integrations. We really want to develop difficult components and solutions, challenging components and solutions. Sorry. So where we're trying to integrate with an ERP system like IFS or SAP. We want to do that quickly and easily. And again, APIs with no code is what developers really want to do, and IT providers want to do for our partners, where it is a bit more difficult than connecting two systems with a low code, no code approach. All right, and then data security. So we want to be assured that all that governance and control is already in place. So really, not having to deal with that as an IT partner is really, really attractive and really important for us. Okay. So effectively, PowerApps will dramatically accelerate how business apps are built, right? So they're reducing time to build solutions from months, to minutes, I guess, is the idea. Empowering, I guess, the innovators, the boundary pushers that are employees. They're not necessarily in IT, but they're IT and business users, and they're trying to build these applications together. All right, and I guess it's a problem that exists and has existed for the last decade or so. All right. Everything I've just said there is actually not mine. It's actually Microsoft's, right? And Microsoft wrote that statement. A guy called Bill, who's the head of application product, wrote that statement in 2015. And to me, that is the problem. They wrote those problem statements in 2015, and they all stand true today. So, the number of people on this call today shows me that actually PowerApps aren't used in industry, in operation environments as much as they could be or should be. But it's interesting to note that 5 years on, we still have those same problems, but we still have the technology available to us. We potentially just don't know how to use it and what the right use cases are for implementing it into organizations. All right, so that is the problem. So Power Platform, because I touched on it earlier, what is it? I just want to go back to basics at the top level here and just say, what is the Power Platform? So the Power Platform is really a set of applications that you can consume within Microsoft 365. So most of us will probably know Power BI now, but it's the data visualization and analytical tool that we can connect to multiple data sources to feed that data out and visualize it to make informed decisions. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. We've got virtual agents on the right hand side there. So virtual agents are chatbots basically. So you can build chatbots to engage with your customers through websites, through other platforms, but they are AI based chatbots essentially. Then you've got Power Automate in the blue there. So Power Automate's a workflow engine, and it's really, really powerful. Yeah, of course, Power Automate. And then it's PowerApps then, which is an application development engine and platform to allow you to build your applications. So we're talking about the Power Apps specifically today. Okay, I'll of course touch on other things. This diagram is kind of the same as the one before, but I wanted just to bring this up really and to show you that effectively, really, when we're building these apps, we're building them, they're hosted in Azure, and you've got Power Apps, Power Automate, and then Power BI, and we're using that through the common data service to connect to other services around the environment or the estate. Okay, so realistically, virtual agents isn't something that is used a lot in my experience at the moment. It's more the common three here: Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate. Right. And then you can see here these connectors, the data connectors, the AI builders, and the common data service as well. Right. So Power Apps is really about building applications from the ground up with no code or low code, where you have to go and integrate with another service that's not plug and play. You need a coder, a developer, to write that kind of pro code, as Microsoft call it, to connect to that service. But most connectors are available out of the box. But it does depend what you're trying to do, really. All right. So that's what Power Apps is. It's the ability to go and create these applications, for you or I to do with limited development experience. So there's types of examples of Power Apps here on the screen. So effectively these are different form factors, and they can do different activities. All right, so you can have out of the box Power Apps. You can make them role based. You can make them as simple or as complicated as you want. Okay. But the idea is that you're connecting with all these data sources. So this is the screenshot of the connectors as far as I could zoom out on my screen yesterday or last night. But yeah, you can see there's lots of different connectors with lots of apps that I honestly really don't know what they are. But there's a lot of that we know and love, like Dropbox and Outlook and SharePoint, Google Drive, Dynamics, OneNote. It really is a massive list of connections that we can consume. Pertinent there is Twitter, so social platforms, so we can call on those services to do something in our Power App. For example, when someone comments on our wall, that type of thing. So I'll come on to that a bit more detail in a bit. But yeah, the point is we could connect our Power App with all these different connections. All right. So the idea is that, just as an example here, this is about an API effectively. So if we didn't have a connector, we could use an API to connect a Power App with a Bing search engine, for example, and we can do that for a myriad of reasons. But it's just to show you graphically that you have a device, a client using a device through your app, through a set of APIs, which is essentially on Azure, and we could connect with most third parties services. I haven't actually found a service that I can't connect to. If I'm honest, the only one that was a real struggle was Xero, and I ended up doing it with a little middleware extract into Excel. So ultimately, for that customer, the Xero data does come out into the Power App. It's just not a direct connection. It's a little bit of a middleware to bring it out. But generally, I've never had an app that I've not been able to connect with, over the last 18 months anyway. Okay. So when we talk about Power Apps, there's three different types of Power Apps. If we start on the left-hand side, there's Canvas apps. So these are mobile phone apps, and these are really customizable, and you can use them on a tablet or even a phone, and you can. It's about the form factor really of the type, and that's what categorizes these really. All the functionality is available. It's just that it's designed to allow you to build a smaller screen area to interact with that system. All right. Then on the right hand side, then you've got a model driven app, which is what I'll show you today, which is a system, more of a records based system. So if anybody's used Dynamics 365, it looks like Dynamics 365 in terms of entities and records and views and so on and so forth. And that's really where I see the opportunity and the biggest demand, I guess, for PowerApps is in the model-driven app space, and that's where Microsoft are going. And for Bay's site at the moment, we are delivering a massive model-driven app for their portfolio management solution at the moment, and it's a robust system that we can code and script and do all those clever APIs and all that kind of stuff is all there available to us. But it looks and feels like a system, which is what I'll come on to show you later on. The third type of Power App is a portal. I've colored this purple just to articulate that this is really for when you're trying to engage with external stakeholders. So where you're trying to surface data to a customer or a third party or a supplier, you would use a portal. It's basically a website really, and you can surface your content or your information to that portal for that third party to use and consume. And they don't have to be part of your Microsoft 365 tenant. They can you pay a different license model, and I think it's based on the amount of traffic you have to that portal. But it's about kind of almost exposing the data, your information, or communicating with your customers through a website, basically. So if you wanted to post your invoices up to that website, or you wanted your customer to raise a support ticket, which if you're a customer of Icotech, will be coming soon. So you'll be able to log on to our portal and raise a support ticket to say, I need some help with this or whatever it may be, and then it logs into our CRM system, and we can surface other content around that portal at the same time. All right. So they're really the three types of Power Apps that are available to all of us today in Microsoft 365. I'll just go on to a couple of examples really. So this is a Canvas app. So you can see here it's got the form factor of these toggles, a map, some images, a search bar. It's really designed to render well on a mobile device. You wouldn't really use a Canvas app if you wanted to access it on a PC or a screen. It's just not built for that size and scale. And just one thing to note as well, I guess I probably missed, is that it's not to say the Canvas app is not compatible with the model-driven app. We have some customers that have a model-driven app that is used in the back office functions. So, job requests and job actioning and work orders all go through here. But the end user on the field, I guess the person who's maybe out in the field, who's doing the construction job, who's fitting the pipe in the ground or whatever, will get the notification and access the app through the Canvas app. So it's just about thinking about the different ways in which your users will engage with that application. Okay. So I guess it's difficult sometimes to articulate what they can do. So I've just tried to find different ways, different methods of showing you what it can do. But this is effectively a project management app. So this is and this is an example again. It's not one of ours. It's just some images I found offline because I think it articulates the storyboard quite well. But effectively, this is a timesheet in the Canvas app is then updating a SharePoint list, which is then being exported into Power BI through a series of email flows. Yeah. So I've got a project request, from and it's restored in SharePoint, and then the Canvas app, somebody's doing a bit of time management, so entering time into that against that project, and that's being posted into SharePoint. And then the end user, the analyst, PMO analyst or timesheet manager is seeing all of the timesheets and on all of the projects on this simple Power BI report. So it's just to show you that's a case study, I guess, or an example of how you can use Power Apps in a simplistic way. This is a model-driven app. It says Dynamics here, but it is a model-driven app effectively. And it's got, I guess, records that go through stages and fields that you can fill out. So because a lot of the time when I talk to stakeholders and communities about Power Apps, they always de facto think it's a mobile app, but it's a phone app, and it's like, trying to get them to realize it's not. And hopefully that's something I can do today, is share that Power Apps is much more than just the mobile form factor that the word app kind of makes us think it is. So yeah, I'll show you our very simplistic example of a risk management app later on in the demo. Okay, so this is just another example, but effectively this is all built on a common data service. We've got connectors to other systems, invoicing systems, and it's about quickly automating and building processes through applications. All right, so and then in the project setting, because we specialize in project, we have a number of project solutions. So in this example, you've got projects being added to the app. The users adding these projects and these records, creating project plans, and then taking them through a life cycle. And these are a set of dashboards here that you can build natively in the app without the use of Power BI. Okay, and then portals. So that's the third one I just wanted to show you again. Portals is about building a website, blogs, forums, submission of ideas, support cases, a knowledge base. And the interesting thing with portals is you could ask the user to authenticate in different with different records or different keys. So for example, I can authenticate onto or log in to a portal using my LinkedIn account or using my Facebook account. So if you wanted to create a little informal blog area for your community, you could do that. Okay, cool. So what we'll do now is just double checking that there's no other questions. Okay, cool. So I'm going to jump out of this and go into a little bit of a demonstration of a model-driven app. Okay. Again, please don't look at this as in me showing you what we can do with apps. This is simply you can see how long it was modified one day ago. This is basically me last night with a bottle of red and just showing you what it can do effectively. And if everybody does have any requirements as I go through this and has managed to think of some or some challenges for me, I'd love to show you how easy it is to build these more simplistic Power Apps. So this is a model-driven app. So again, this is about I'm just going to make sure it is expanded. Yes. So this is about a system really more than an app on a phone. Yeah, so this is the use case in my mind when I thought of this recently was about corporate risk being added to a system. So at the moment, you might have a SharePoint list or an Excel spreadsheet, and these are the fields that I've added into the system to go and track these risks. When I enter into the record, I'm able to see some information on the record, like the name, an automatic key that I've created. When it was created, you can see it was me last night, a bit late. Partner's probably shouting at me at this point, telling me to get off the computer. But you can build it quite easily, really. And then you can kind of build your drop-down lists and have your automatic kind of records update the number here, the exposure of the risk. So this is a simple 5x5 model, and it's doing 4x4x2. All right, and then you've got these text fields here that you can put into place. All right, and then you've got other related records, but this is simply the most simple form of a model-driven Power App. So what I really want to show you is how I built it. And what we've got to understand is that in your Power Apps environment, if any of you are on Power Apps at the moment, and you might get blocked at this point, but if you went to make.powerapps.com, just hit enter in the browser. If you have access to it, obviously don't do it if you know you shouldn't be doing it, don't have access. But if it's your own Office 365 environment, encourage you to go and have a look, because you'll see some standard apps that are available to you, and you can see the type of app here. So a lot of these are model-driven apps, but if you went into a different environment, then you can build the Canvas apps here and other things. So these are the 3 apps that you can build, and I've just selected a model-driven app. All right. One of the things to recognize then, and this is where it kind of understanding of data and tables really helps, is that you have entities. So I have a set of entities in this development environment. A lot of them come out of the box, and I'm just going to double check I'm in the right environment. Yes, I am. And these are all the entities that are actually in this demo environment. They're used for a myriad of things. So an entity is effectively a table in a system. But you can see here that it's once you understand what an entity is, you can see the power of the potential, I guess. The other thing to think about is option sets. So if you're used to SharePoint, oh God, I can't remember what it's called now, but I'll lookup. Yeah, so lookup in SharePoint. So basically, these are drop and the values within the drop down. And one of the tricks is that if you're going to create a field that references a lookup, you need to create the option set first. Okay, so this option set is what I've built here. It's the ICO risk consequence option set, and I've given it the values here of 1 to 5. All right, and then what I've done is I've created a field called consequence in the entity that I've built called risk. Yeah, so this field is, I think it's risk consequence. Here it is. Yeah, and what I've done is I've referenced the ICO risk consequence field. All right, so it's basically about creating the fields that you want to create. Okay, and creating the fields one by one, like you would in SharePoint. Select the field type, and then surfacing that field onto a view or a form. All right, this is a okay, get it right now, but this is a view. Yeah, so this is a view, and then these are forms. This is a form, the risk form. All right, so I can come into this form. I'm in the risk entity. I could come into the main form called information, and I get to edit this form now. And you can simply click and drop. So I've built this little system. I know it's a little system as an example, but I've built it with no code, no real kind of developer experience. But you can do this. You know, if you watch this recording back, you could probably solve your more simple requirement following this video. So what I've done, just for context, is that these fields here are, you know, they're a numerical character hyphen text. Obviously, if you were going to put that into Excel and do a sum, it would fail, wouldn't it? It'd say, I can't add 1 hyphen rare plus 1 hyphen rare together. I can't do that. So you have to do like what I call a conversion field, which is effectively take this value. If this value is 1 hyphen rare, then make it 1. Yeah, put this field as 1, and then my overall original exposure field is actually doing a sum of these two fields. Okay, so you saw how easy it was there for me to drag in these fields. So I'm just dragging these fields into these sections, and away we go. Really, that actually wasn't the field I wanted to drag in. I think you can basically delete that. There you go. I can go risk trend was the field I want to add in here. All right, so this is the form, yeah, underneath the view that I'm now editing through click and drop. All right. If anybody did have any requirements, just give me some inspiration, really. Just give me some put in the chat window. I'll be happy to add any field or maybe try and do something to show you what it can do. But just as an example, it's just, you know, demo example. This is the field. I'm creating a new field now within this entity. It is searchable, but it's not required. Yeah, and it's got a maximum length. Let's put it as 200. So we could put a big old paragraph in there. You can put a description here, so if you want to. So this is a demo example field to show how easy this is. So yeah. So we're creating a field now. It's creating it in that risk entity, and it does take a bit of time. It's not about performance. It's about, you know, kind of uptime and durability on the end. This is me building it, you know. So there's my field demo examples come in, and it's a text field. I'm going to add it into that view there. All right, it's taking a bit of time, but it'll go in there shortly. All right, so I'm just going to save it. And again, concept of publishing. So I'm making changes to the app in the background, but I'm not changing the live app. I haven't published it to the live environment yet. All right, so now I'm going to publish it and say I want these two changes to go to that app now, and that the user can go and consume and use that service, or the latest version of the app. It does take a bit of time to do this, unfortunately, but you know, it's just doing it with the least disruption, of course. So yeah, if anybody does have any kind of ideas of what I could build in here, I could show you how easy it is to put something in there. Please do just take yourself off mute and ask me if it can do or what it can do, and I can show you live on the screen how we build those the features into it. Or even if you wanted just to put something in the chat window, more than happy for you to do that as well. So then I've built that now. I'm just going to go back just to clarify that, you know, it's all saved, just a bit OCD in that sense, but effectively it's loading all my entities again. I'm now going to go back to the app. I'm going to close down the old version. I'm going to play the app now, so as if I'm a corporate risk manager or whatever it is. And fingers crossed, he says, cool. So they're there, yeah. So they've surfaced now. So these fields have now surfaced. So if my little formula in the background is working, when I change that to 5, hit save, that's changed to 5. The overall exposure has changed. All right, and I can just put a test demo example text field. Yeah, so I'm just recording this data here. All right. And then views. So these are views that you can create. They're like views in SharePoint. But again, if you wanted to go and change the view, you've got to find the entity in question. It all starts with the entity. So it's the risk entity. And then you're effectively creating a list of views. All right, so this is my active ICA risk view. Okay. And then this is how easy it is to take that field I've just created, which is a text field, and I can add it into the view. He says, got to get it right. There we go. Demo example. There's my little bit of text. It shows it pre-shows you the view there in the view. All right. So again, you follow that process. You save it, and you publish it to the app itself. All right, so literally, I know I've built a few of these before, and I guess kind of into these type of things, but that's how simple it is to build a very basic and simplistic app. But again, you could spend hundreds of days doing it as well. So what I'll do now is I'll just go back to creating a different view. Maybe let's just see what I can do. So operational risks. Okay, so this is a better example if you've got 20, 30, 40, 50 risks in it, of course. But I just want to see all the operational risks in the active risk view. All right, so I'm in the active risk view. I'm going to filter. All right, so this is filtering already by active, but I'm going to apply a filter here. So I'm going to say, right, give me if the what field was it? Here we go. This is typical. Can't remember what field it was called. It was called risk type. Here we go. So add a new row. You can see the level of, you can filter it on other related entities as well. So other data, like James was asking earlier, that might be stored in a different system that might say that Joel's a contractor versus Joel's a permanent member of staff. You could say, well, if that system over there says that Joel's a permanent member of staff, then show me this data, and therefore that's the level of integration potentially you have, right, as an example. And then I've forgotten the risk again. Risk type. Here we go. So risk type, I want it to show me operational risks only. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Fingers crossed, it's going to re-render itself, and it's going to only show me the risk type is operational, which it has here. So again, I go through the process of saving it and then publishing it to the environment. All right, and really it's about chipping away through those little developments, I guess, those little requirements. And you can see how quite quickly, if you were a dedicated resource building this app, you could build a really professional looking system that is quite powerful, that replaces your SharePoint lists, your Excel spreadsheets, and has a level of integration and workflow as well. Workflow in Power Automate is probably the next step on, really, in terms of complexity and challenge. But I really wanted to show you today what could be built within a matter of hours if you have the desire to build these type of things. All right, so I'm just going to go back to my PowerApps and see here. This is how you get the flows integrated. You've got AI builders and chatbots you could bring into it as well. Okay. So back to the app, I'm going to go back to, as if I was a user, you could surface this to a user, save it in your favorites. So this is in this example, I'm acting as the operational kind of risk owner or risk risk monitoring officer, whatever it may be, and there we go. There's my active risks filtered by the one that is an operational risk. All right. And then I can go in to interact with this risk. I started to get carried away, and I wanted to build actions in here and assigning the risk to people and sharing it. But you can see, I think you can see all the potential in there. Word templates as well, so this is a really cool feature. So if you have a Word document that's maybe you want it to PDF and send to a third party or store somewhere, you can export this as a Word document and then PDF that document. So all these fields, all these values can be exported into a Word document. Then shared or sent to an officer or somebody who needs to see it, and then you can build in reports as well in the future. Cool. So that's it from me in terms of demo. Again, I just wanted to reiterate, this is just to show you very simplistically what a model-driven app is, and just a very simple use case for getting rid of a SharePoint list and with a bit more functionality than the SharePoint or Excel, and how easy it is for you if you're at home or in work and want to build this little app for running your department or meeting your needs. You could build a simple app. But again, just go to make.powerapps.com. Make sure you're in the right environment first off, and then literally as simple as just click on model driven app or canvas app or portal and start building your app then. All right. And if anybody's got any questions over the next couple of weeks, you'll have this Teams chat window. So just post some questions. One of the amazing things about Teams is that we can all communicate if we need to. And I had a question about Power BI the other day after a Power BI demonstration, and somebody asked a question, and within a couple of minutes, Matt had answered it and helped them to resolve the problem. So yeah, feel free to drop us an email or connect with us, and we're more than happy to help with this stuff. So that's the kind of end of the demonstration. I just want to show you that really we've packaged up all our expertise in Power Platform as a service. All right, so this is one of our newest services, but one that's been kind of taken on really quickly. We've got technical developers that are experts in this field that can build these apps very quickly and support our customers with building these complex apps. But sometimes when you want to deliver a project, it's quite hard to go and get the business case to kind of get the 30-40 days to build this big massive outcome in a solution, and what we do here is enter into a longer term partnership that's about a lower cost model because it's longer term, but it means that we're on hand to iterate and work in an agile approach with you to fix specific problems. So for example, add this field here, I want that little Power BI report tweak. Those type of smaller activities where we're building a Power App that's over time, it's working really well actually. It works for us because we can get to know our customers and get to know where they're trying to go over a longer period of time, rather than just all be pressured to deliver what the project says in the proposal. And it helps our customers because we're not asking our customers to understand the requirement of their app up front and they all go around scratching their heads on the whiteboards, what do we want this thing to do? It's actually just take your time. Once you know what you need to do, come to us and we'll set the deliverables out and scope it out and iterate on that service. So Power Platform as a service is something that's quite unique, but yeah, we're really finding it really valuable for both parties in the partnerships we've started so far. So that's really it from me. Thank you very much for joining. I really do appreciate it. If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the chat window, or even come off mute and you can ask me them now. More than happy to answer any questions that anybody's got. And thank you to those who have already asked a question. Really do appreciate it. This is recorded and it will be shared on YouTube and distributed out to the people who have attended and the people who are unable to attend. But if there is no other questions, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy bonfire night. Hopefully you've all got some fireworks, and yeah, stay healthy and stay safe, and we'll catch up very soon. Thank you very much for your time.